The devil with blue eyes is what I call him. He asked me if I was interested in modeling for him.
This guy is like probably the biggest mass rapist in maybe North American history. I'm talking about Canada, U.S. Apparently he's raped like about 100 girls. Some of them are underage, as young as 10 years old. And by the way, Peter Nygard, apparently, from what we see here, is a very good friend of Richard Carleton. That's the CEO of the Canadian Scam Exchange, aka Canadian Securities Exchange, the worst failing stock exchange on the planet. Penny stocks. Their index is down like 85% over the last 5 years. Literally, it's the worst performing exchange. This guy is now under investigation. There's a criminal investigation, which we have requested from the RCMP, that's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Ontario Securities Commission, and the British Columbia Securities Commission into Richard Carleton, Mark Faulkner, Tracy Stern, and various co-conspirators who have committed serious securities fraud. And these people are, number one is they committed massive multiple acts of fraud that ripped off 4,000 investors that we know of. Millions of dollars have been lost. And most importantly, they are unfit to be executives of a securities exchange under the OSC and the BCSC recognition orders. What is that? You Google it. Links below. Okay, these guys should not be let anywhere near a stock exchange. But anyway, look, is the Canadian Securities Exchange racist? That's right. We're talking about racism in Canada. We know that Canada has a history of institutional racism going back a couple hundred years. And we're going to find out if the Canadian Securities Exchange, which is the penny stocks scam exchange, aka known as the Canada Scam Exchange, is it a racist organization? Now, we do know for a fact that the CEO of that exchange, which you can see right here in that picture, the chubby gentleman at the far right in the pink, he's an associate of a rapist pedophile named Peter Nygard, which we did a story on earlier. You can see there's a picture of him. That's Peter Nygard. That's the handsome-looking older gentleman with long hair, and with his good friend Richard Carleton. So good friends. Picture is still up on their Instagram page. They're very proud of all their associations on the Instagram page, and that is the rapist Richard Nygard, pedophile rapist, I should say, who is currently in prison and awaiting extradition to the U.S. In the middle, you see, of course, James Black. That's the propaganda minister over there. And you see, of course, what's his name? Rob Cook. That's the old guy who looks like he's got Alzheimer's with a couple of drinks. And, of course, dirty cop Mark Faulkner, who has been profiled on here. Again, all these people are facing right now criminal investigation. Let me just be clear. A criminal investigation request has been filed with the RCMP, as well as the Ontario Securities Commission and the British Columbia Securities Commission. Notice everybody here is white, very, very white, very Caucasian. And let's get this back on stage. There we go. Okay, so this is the Canadians, the CSC, that this is their web page. This is their About Us page talking about their team, right? This shows you who works at the company. You go to any company's website, it shows you the people there. Now, you see this young black woman. That's right. We got a young black female here, okay, who is the face of the company. I mean, she's right there, right? So I'm thinking, okay, she's at the top of the page. I'm sure it's a diverse company. Now, we do know this is in Toronto. The headquarters is in Toronto, okay? Toronto is probably, I don't know, is it like 70% Indian and Middle Eastern and I don't know what else? Okay, maybe 60%, at least 60%, okay? Now, we do know, listen, I can tell you from my personal experience of dealing with listed companies on the CSC, the TSX, dealing with promoters, half the people I dealt with, the CEOs of these companies were minorities. They were either Middle Eastern, they were Indian, black. I had two black guys, which is very, I'm American, but I had no idea black people lived in Canada. Hey, what do I know? What do I know? I try to avoid going to Canada, but apparently there are black people who live in Canada. I don't know, I mean, they're not African. They're like, Canadian. So And I'm not talking about Drake. Okay, so actually, interestingly, one of our most successful companies was Peak Fintech, PKK, and the CEO of that company was Johnson Joseph, a black gentleman. And I don't know if he's French. I don't know where he's from. I mean, the guy was some sort of, well, he had a French, he spoke French. I don't know, maybe he's from Africa, maybe he's from, again, I don't know how the blacks got to Canada. I have no idea. But unless they're from Africa, I don't know how they got there. But let's talk about racism here. As you can see, I'm an expert on all things African American. Now, this leads me to the executive team page over here. This is the CSC executive team page. Shows you who all the top paid executives are. Again, these are the top best paid people in the company, senior executives. You got Richard Carleton, Tricky Dick Carleton, of course, associated with the pedophile Peter Nygard. I can't keep all these pedos. And Peter Nygard. You got Marianne Palangio, this older lady over here, who's, by the way, she is facing allegations of financial fraud. She's the chief financial officer. Apparently, she backdated some documents according to allegations in a lawsuit brought by their former chief legal counsel. So that's the guy who was there before this lady, Tracy Stern, who is a corrupt individual, and a criminal investigation complaint has been filed into her. Okay, of course, she is good friends with one of the people at the OSC. So, it's a crony network. Again, so far, I don't see any dark faces here. Okay, not even brown. Okay, no black people at all. Even this guy. Okay, this guy his name is Black, James Black, but he's white, as you can see. All right, so this is cultural appropriation. He's using a black name to I guess to get the job, but he's actually white, very white. Let me tell you, that guy's super white. These guys are all very, very pale, by the way. Let's see the board of directors. You see any black people here? You see any black people now? They get some new faces here. Okay, we don't know these. We got some new faces. I don't know if they kicked some people off. They kicked some people off over there. I guess that's the Caldwell. That's Brendan Caldwell of the Caldwell crime family. I don't see him here. Now, this is their entire team, basically. I think they have other people. Okay, board of directors. We saw that, right? Now, again, no black people. You see no black people, right? Any black folks here? I don't see any. By the way, do you see any Muslims or Indians? Let me see. Can we find any? No, which is very shocking, by the way. Now, that's actually very shocking because, again, their market, okay, the CSE is 50%, I would say, I'm just from my experience for many years, half the CEOs are either Middle Eastern, Indian. Yeah, I think I only of the companies we had, I think we only had maybe a couple of white guys, and one of them was American, so that doesn't really count. Let me just think. Yeah, it was all very few. It was mostly I would say Indian, Middle Eastern, and then we had two black CEOs, and the best performer was, or actually the second best performer was Peak Fintech, Johnson Joseph. So apparently the CSE is not representative of their of their constituents. This is not representative at all of again, of not only the CEOs of these companies, but also the investors. My investor list for New World Solutions. Again, I was the chairman of New World Solutions. I looked at the registered shareholder list, and I can tell you half the names were 70% of the names were foreign names. Okay, meaning I didn't see any Ians or Trevors or Nigels. I didn't see any of these Anglo-Canadian names. It was mostly Middle Eastern, Indian, and a little bit of Asian. So maybe it might have been like 20% Asian, maybe less, a little bit less, and like 60% Middle Eastern and Indian. All right, so which is very bizarre, right? Again, this is what you see here. This is not me making this up. Again, this is the exchange, which is again run by a man named Richard Carleton. You see at the right, and his friend, the rapist pedophile Peter Nygard. Okay, this is them again. Okay, and by the way, let me just pull this up. So this is what they're being sued for, by the way, which is their former chief counsel is, and we're gonna, in the bottom of the video, you're gonna see a link to the lawsuit. Okay, we got the lawsuit, but the basic allegations are 4 major allegations. One is financial improprieties, including documents backdating and cover-up by CFO Marianne Palangio, conflicts of interest, securities law violations by Mark Faulkner, the crooked cop. And it could be, from what I understand, maybe it could be that Mark Faulkner was maybe doing some, look, he's the regulator of the exchange, okay? Now, maybe he can't trade the stocks. He's got inside information, right? But he's got relatives. He's got his kids, right? Maybe he's got that son of his, what's his name? Jalen or whatever. His wife, Kathy, you know, he's got relatives. He's got a big family in Toronto area, right? He's got a bunch of names, a bunch of, you know, beards that he could run trades through, right? He's got inside information. Let me tell you something, my friends. When New World Solutions was halted, there was very, very suspicious selling just like literally 2 minutes before it was halted. Very suspicious selling, and I believe that was based on inside information. Yes, I do believe that Mark Faulkner is trading on or using inside information, going through his relatives. That is, and you know, in Canada, inside information is rampant. Okay, so the other allegations in that lawsuit by the way, that's the chief legal officer that's suing them. I mean, that's the guy who knows where all the dirt is buried. Okay, he's saying attempted cover-up of Mark Faulkner potential securities fraud by Richard Carleton. Okay, that is, by the way, I'm getting this from ChatGPT. So I got the ChatGPT to give me like the summary, basically. I'm not sure how correct it is, frankly, but yeah, because I don't know how to read that document. It's a big legal document. It's very confusing. But the ChatGPT, pretty much, this is what it gave me. So again, attempted cover-up of Mark Faulkner's alleged securities fraud. By the way, everything here is alleged by Richard Carleton. And also Richard Carleton, abusive behavior towards employees. Yeah, abusive behavior towards employees. He said a lot of nasty, ugly things, which you can read about in the lawsuit. A lot of things which were sexist, degrading towards women. And also, what else was there? I think there was something about... yeah, he made some very insulting comments about a woman who was pregnant, something about, you know, I mean, really it's disgusting. Richard Carleton is a pig. He's a fat pig, and he needs to be in prison for fraud. And we got to investigate. Maybe he did other things with this guy, Peter Nygard, the rapist and pedophile. And that's the pig, Mark Faulkner. As you can see, he's a fat pig cop, mole cop. He's what you call a police buff. Like, he doesn't have the ball. He never had the balls to be like an actual cop. He probably wanted to be like a motorcycle cop or something, but he was like too lazy, and he's got no balls. He's a coward. He's a bully and a coward. Okay, Mark Faulkner is a bully and a coward and very, very stupid. And he's the only uneducated, what do you call it, the VP of regulations at any securities exchange. If you look, we have a link below. You can see the qualifications of every other regulator at every other securities exchange. They all have law degrees. So again, if you're working at OTC pink sheets, you're working at the TSX, you're working at NASDAQ, you're working at the NEO, SIBO, whatever they call it. All these guys have law degrees. This guy is the only guy without a law degree. He doesn't even have a university degree. He's got like a degree from Humber College, which is some sort of like, you know, I don't know. I think it's a cooking school. This is what I'm being told. It's a cooking school. In Toronto, where they have a lot of like illegal migrants who go there to get like student visas so they can overstay. But that's basically what it is. It's a diploma mill. It's a diploma mill for illegal migrants sneaking into Canada. Anyway, the corruption and lies, fraud, etc. You know, again, we know that this guy James Black is a snitch. We got other videos which explain that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. And we'll see you on the next video. Please comment, subscribe, and if you want to make a contribution, a donation, we appreciate your support, because we have big legal bills coming up to fight these bastards.